people that use Davidsons for their studies. It's quite wonderful for us to meet you, as I say. So I hope you'll... Davidson, at the moment, we're celebrating the publication of the 21st edition. So what I'm going to do is just to give you a bit of a flavour of how the book has developed over the years, and then talk about one or two of the developments we've made for this new edition. So Sir Stanley Davidson was born in 1894 in Sri Lanka. He went on to have a very distinguished career in the army in World War I, but was very seriously injured and wasn't expected to survive. But despite that, he went on to have another very distinguished career in medicine. As you can see, he was Professor of Medicine in Edinburgh for over 20 years. But in 1952, he published his very first edition of Principles in Practice in Medicine, and this was based on the lecture notes that he prepared for students at the time. And these were famous for their clarity of the text and the structure in which he presented them. So this slide here shows you his original student notes. As you can see, they look just a bit different to the book now. By the 1970s, we've got a few black and white drawings coming into the book, but we've really worked hard to make Davidson's keep up with the times. And this is how, whoops, no, there's a slide missing there, of the inside of how it looks now. But you can see the outside of the book has also changed just a little bit over the years, again, to try and keep up with the times. But what hasn't changed at all is the efforts that we make to keep the text absolutely clear and concise, and to keep the structure of each chapter absolutely clear and concise. That tradition will always remain. Oh, there's the one of how it looks on the inside today. So we're now in colour. Beautiful illustrations and lots of tables. You see one down there at the bottom. So how do we put the book together? Well, the three editors are shown here, myself, Professor Brian Walker, who unfortunately couldn't get away to be with us, and Professor Ralston, who's about to give you the talk. And here you can see it's hard at work, arguing as usual over what's going in and what's coming out of the book. But we work very closely with 50 specialist authors from all over the world, including from, to try and put together up-to-date, clear text on every medical specialty. We also have an international advisory board with over 30 members from all over the world. 16 of them are from India, and they review and comment on every chapter. We also commission reviews from international experts on each chapter. But perhaps most important are the student reviews and feedback, because if we don't produce a book that you want to read and provides you with what you need, it's a pointless exercise. So please keep sending in your response cards, and I hope you've all got a feedback sheet to fill in today. So what about this present edition? What have we done to this? And I guess a lot of you won't have seen this yet. Well, we've extensively updated every chapter, and we've virtually rewritten the infectious diseases chapter and those on poisoning and molecular medicine. The clinical examination overviews have been very popular, and we've now put them at the front of almost every chapter. And just a few new things we put in. We put in some practice point boxes, try and describe the practical skills, such as I say here, nasogastric tube insertion, interpreting ECGs and X-rays, just to give you some basic guidance on that. We've also put in some emergency boxes to try and give you the knowledge you need to manage the acutely ill patient. And also, and this is largely because of feedback from India last time we visited, we've included boxes that describe the medical issues in pregnancy in different conditions. So I'm just going to show you a few examples of these boxes in the next slide. So there's a practice point box on how to perform an oral glucose tolerance test, a pregnancy box describing the special issues you've got to remember when a patient with epilepsy becomes pregnant, and an emergency box talking about clinical decision making in the critically ill patient. So I do hope you all enjoy the new edition, but without further ado,